Hi students, welcome back to the discussion of the chapter Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint, which is the second chapter of the third unit of your NCERT book. We have already discussed about the background of Robinson Crusoe, and we have also discussed about the first part of this chapter. Today we are going to discuss the second part of this particular chapter. But before we start the second part, let us have a quick recap of the things that we learned in the previous video. We first saw that Robinson Crusoe's ship is destroyed by the sea, because of which he is now living on an island where he is all alone, and there he spends quite a lot of time, and he lives there all alone without anybody. Then one fine day what happens is he discovers a footprint. All right. So he's very surprised to find the footprint because he was the only man living on the island. In all these years, he did not find anyone else. So that footprint must be belonging to him, but that was not his own footprint. That is why he was so very surprised. And the footprint also did not seem like the footprint of any other animal or, something else. It completely resembled a human's footprint. So what he did after that, today we will discuss that. Okay, so as you're already familiar with this page, this happens to be the first page of the chapter, and we ended at I could not imagine how it came there. So here, Robinson Crusoe is talking about the footprint. He could not imagine how the footprint came there. Okay, so now we will begin today's part. I stayed a long time thinking, but became more and more confused. So he kept loitering around that footprint for quite a long time. He was trying to find out whose footprint it is and from where did it come. All right. But the more he stayed there, the more he thought about it, the more confused he got. All right. Let us see the meaning of the word confused. The word confused comes from the word confusion, and it means the inability to think clearly. Okay, so when you're unable to think clearly about something, you can say that you are confused about it. All right, so our character, our protagonist, Robinson Crusoe, was also confused about the footprint because he was not able to find any explanation to why it was there, whose footprint it was. And all of a sudden, in all these years, he did not see anything like that. And all of a sudden, how did he find a footprint? All these things were just, going on in his mind, and he was completely confused and he was completely unable to think clearly. At last, I returned home very frightened. So you see, he spent a lot of time around the footprint and then he gave up. He could not find any logical explanation to what the footprint was doing there. All right. And at last, what did he do? He returned home and he was very frightened. All right. We'll see how exactly his home is. Is it like the home that we have? All right. But first, let us see the meaning of this quite difficult word, frightened. The word frightened means being scared or afraid of something or someone. All right. And the picture that you can see here is of a boy who is very scared of something that he has seen. All right. So whenever you are scared or whenever you are afraid of something, you can also use the word frightened in place of scared and afraid. All right. So these are all synonyms. All right. Similar meaning words. And I would expect you to write this down in your vocabulary copy. There are many difficult words in this particular chapter. I hope you're all jotting all these words in your vocabulary copy. Now, the picture that you can see on your screen is that of Robinson Crusoe's home. All right, he's frightened and he's running back to his home. And when I said that maybe his home is not the home that we know about, you see, I was right, because you see, his home is not actually a home, it's more like a cave. Okay, and that cave has become his home right now because he has been stranded on this island for so many years. And the entrance to this cave is, you see, it is almost hidden behind these trees and bushes. There's a lot of greenery at the entrance of this cave. All right, so the home that Robinson Crusoe has and the home that we live in are very much different from each other. At last I returned home very frightened, looking behind me after every 2 or 3 steps, mistaking every bush and tree to be a man. All right, students. Now, I don't know if you have ever had any such experience or not, but whenever a person is very scared of something or somebody, and if they are trying to go away from that thing, they have this tendency of constantly looking backwards and checking whether that person or that thing is following them or not. All right, so the same thing happened with Robinson Crusoe. When he was going back home, he kept walking and he kept looking back. And as you know, it is an island which is completely uninhabited, where no person lives other than this person named Crusoe. There must be many bushes, there must be many trees, and he was thinking that each of those bushes and trees are human beings. Okay, but that is not the case. It was just he was having these scared thoughts. That is why every time he was looking back, he thought that maybe those are the bushes and the trees are actually human beings which are following him. But that is not the case. We know that. And Robinson Crusoe was just being scared, and that is why he was facing this problem. When I came to my cave, which I called my castle. Okay, so these few words which I called my castle have been provided in a bracket. Now, what is the purpose behind putting these words inside a bracket? It is used in such a way because it is given to you as a background information. All right, it is an extra information that you are getting. That is why it has been used inside brackets. All right, so let us first see what the word castle means. So the word castle means a large, strong building built in the past by a ruler to protect the people inside from attack. And the picture that you can see is of a castle. You see, we don't get to see castles these days. No one builds castles because we don't have rulers anymore. We don't have kings anymore. But many, many, many years ago, like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, when there used to be kings and rulers, they used to build large buildings, like the building that you can see in the picture. It used to be very strong, and all the people on whom the king ruled, they also lived inside the castle, and it was made so very strong so that the people inside could be protected from any attackers. All right, so this is the meaning of the word castle. When I came to my cave, I ran inside it as if I was being chased. All right. So the moment he saw his home, the moment he saw his cave, he just ran inside it. He was, as we know that he is already very much scared about whose footprint that could be. That is why he was running inside it, and he was running as if he was being chased. All right. Let us first see what is the meaning of the word chased. The word chased is the past tense of the word chase. All right. And the meaning of the word chase is to hurry after someone or something in order to catch him or her or it. All right. So in the picture that you can see is here a dog is chasing a boy. All right. And the boy is running they're running away from it and he's very scared. And so the same thing happened with Robinson Crusoe as well. He was running so fast as if he was being chased. Now, do you think there was anybody who was chasing him or there was anybody who was running behind him? No, there was no one. There was nothing. It was just his fear. It was just the fact that he was so very afraid. That is why he was running so fast as if he was being followed by somebody or as if he was being chased by somebody. I do not remember whether I used the ladder or went in by the hole in the rock, which I called the door. All right, students, don't be alarmed seeing this division in the slide because, a hole in the is the place where your page is ending and the yellow portion that you can see is the beginning of the next page. All right. So he doesn't even remember whether he used a ladder. Okay. What do you think a ladder can be? We'll see what is the meaning of the word ladder. Okay, so he doesn't remember, first of all, that how he went inside, whether he used a ladder or whether he went in by the hole. So there were two ways of getting inside his cave. One was by using a ladder and another was by getting through a hole in a rock, which he called the door. Okay, so the doors that we have in our homes is not the door that Robinson Crusoe had. Okay, his door is very much different. The door that he has is not a door actually, it is a hole in the rock. All right, so he could get entry into his cave by two ways. One, by climbing up a ladder, and another by getting inside the hole in a rock. There was some rock and there was a hole in it. He could also get inside the cave with the help of that hole. So the ladder is a piece of equipment used for climbing up and down. Most of you people have ladders at home. Yes, this is a wooden ladder. Nowadays, you also get ladders made of steel and other things. Yes. So, a ladder is a kind of thing which has steps on it and you can use it to climb up and you can also use it to climb down. All right. And this is the same thing that Robinson Crusoe used to get entry into his cave. I ran for cover faster than any animal could run. I ran for cover. It means he ran for shelter. Okay, he wanted to save himself from whatever was following him. We know there was nothing, but he was scared of it. Yes, so he ran for cover means he ran for shelter. Faster than any animal could run. Okay, we already know that animals are generally faster than human beings, but he was so very scared that he ran faster than animals. All right. I did not sleep that night. So just because he was so scared, he did not even sleep peacefully. So you must have faced the same thing. At least I have done. Whenever I watch a horror film, it's very difficult for me to get a peaceful and a sound sleep that night. Okay, I think many of you must be having the same problem. Yes, so for Robinson Crusoe also, this was like a horror film, all right? And he was so very scared that he could not sleep that night. The more I thought about what I had seen, the more afraid I became. All right. So the more he was thinking, it happens, the more you start thinking about a particular thing, the more it kind of controls you. Okay. Like if you have seen a horror film where there's a ghost in it, and if the more you are thinking about that ghost, the more it kind of scares you. If you keep it out of your imagination, if you keep it out of your head, then you will not get so very scared of that particular thing. But the more you think about a problem, the more it gets control over you. I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland. All right, let us see what is the meaning of the word savages. Savages is the plural form of the word savage. a savage is an uncivilized human being who has not been introduced to society. As you can see in the picture, these human beings they're perfectly fine human beings, all right? They're just like us. The only difference is that we are living in a society around human beings, around many we have manners, and we have many proper things because we have been brought up in a society. But savages do not have the privilege. Okay, they have never come out of their forest. They have never been introduced to other kinds of human beings. Okay, they don't go to schools, they don't have shopping malls, they don't go to cinema, and this is why they are called savages. And though you are very young to understand this, the word savage is not used in a very positive way. Okay, but a person who has not been introduced to the society, that is not his fault, right? The fact that you are born to a certain kind of parents is not your merit and is not your demerit. Okay, so a person who has been born in a jungle, or who has been brought up in a jungle, who has spent his whole life in the jungle, that person can be called a savage. That person is not civilized like we are. We have been civilized because we are living in a society, but those people, since they don't live in a society, they have not been civilized like us. That is why they are called uncivilized. All right, and just because they have not been introduced among other human beings, they can be called savages. It was written that the savages of the mainland. All right, now that we have seen the meaning of the word savage, let us see what mainland means. Mainland is a piece of land separated from an island. Okay, so a mainland is also part of land, but it is a bit separated from the island. So in Robinson Crusoe's case, the exact place where Robinson Crusoe was living, nobody was there, no human being was there, but maybe a little far from there, quite far, not near him, maybe in that particular place, in that particular piece of land, some savages lived. Probably they lived. Okay, that is why it has been called a mainland. So it was not in the island where, it is not attached to the island where Robinson Crusoe was living, but it is also a piece of land which is separated from the island where Crusoe was living, and that is why it has been called mainland. I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. All right, let us first see what wandered means. The word wandered is the past tense of the word wander, and wandering means to walk or move in an aimless way. Okay, when you are wandering, like when you don't have any fixed destination, where you have not decided where exactly you are going to stop or where exactly you are going to go, that particular kind of movement can be called wandering. So, I thought it could be one of the savages of the mainland who had wandered out to the sea in a small boat. Now, students, just give it a thought. Why do you think the savages would be coming out to the sea? Why are they not staying in their island? Okay, in their piece of land. It may be because they were coming out to the sea in search of some kind of food, in some kind of fish. All right, and they came in a small boat. So Robinson Crusoe must have seen some proof of that. That is why maybe he's so very sure that they came in a small boat. All right, we'll see what happens next in the next video. Now that we have had quite a discussion about the second part of this chapter, let us have a look at some questions. Now, students, until now, I was providing you answers, all right? But now, what you have to do is you'll find the set of questions, but you will write the answers on your own. So there are 6 questions. The first one is, what was the reason behind Crusoe's confusion? Number 2, suggest one reason why the savages could have come to the mainland. Number 3, describe Crusoe's home. 4, what would you have done if you were in Crusoe's place? 5, while walking back home, what mistake was Crusoe making? Number 6, mention the 2 ways in which Crusoe could enter his cave. Now, students, don't be alarmed. Don't be, scared. Just try to write the answers on your own without taking help from anyone. Okay. And there are a bit complicated questions here, but these will no more be complicated if you watch the video carefully. Okay. When you're reading these questions, if you find any problem, if you have not been able to understand anything, you can again go back to the beginning and listen to the whole thing again. All these questions, like the number 6 question, the question number 3, question number 2, all these questions have a bit different kind of an answer, and I have already discussed these. All right. So try to do these on your own. Now, let us have a quick recap of the things that we learned in today's video. We first saw that Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint on the seashore. He is very scared and runs towards his cave for shelter. He could not sleep peacefully that night. Why? Because we already know that he was very scared. And at last we saw that Crusoe is assuming that the footprint probably belongs to the savages living on the mainland. What he will do after this, we'll see in the third part. All right, students, with this we come to the discussion of the second part of the chapter. The next video will be about the third part. Stay safe and stay healthy.